Hi, I'm Dr. Perkins, and I just want to talk about lab safety procedures and cleanup. So please remember this stuff. First of all, let's just talk a little bit about lab safety and lab tools. As you can see, a lot of these tools are pretty sharp. Okay, so you've got the scissors, you've got the forceps, you've got the probe, and these are all metal objects, and you've got the scalpel, which usually has a very sharp blade at the end that can be removed and replaced. And so you have to be super careful with all of these things because it's very easy to cut yourself. Sometimes we even need to get out the single edge razor blades. Okay, so just realize that, be really careful that you don't cut yourself. Okay, you want to work in a well-ventilated area because your specimens usually are soaking in a preservative called formalin, and it's kind of stinky. It's not that bad for you, but you just don't want to be smelling that all the time. As well, you want to be wearing gloves and protective eyewear. So if you wear glasses, that should be good enough. But we also have goggles in the laboratory. If you are not wearing old clothes, please grab a lab coat or a plastic apron. Like I said, be careful of anything sharp like the scalpel, scissors, or a single-edged razor blade. When you're holding that, realize that you could cut yourself or you could cut somebody else. So you want to be extra careful of that sort of thing. Okay, a little bit about dissection. Hands are often better than the scissors or the scalpel. Realize that once you make a cut, the cut's made. The tissues are cut in half, and so you have to think very carefully before you make your cut because you want to make sure that you're cutting what you want to cut. You can't then put back together whatever it is you've cut apart. And the other thing you have to know about hands is that if you take your fingers and you pull tissues apart, they often pull apart along the lines that they're supposed to pull apart on. They often separate, especially with muscles. It's easier to separate one muscle from the other. Once you go in with a scalpel or scissors, it's much easier to cut a muscle in half that you don't really intend to cut in half. So always try using your hands before using the scissors or the scalpel. Please respect the animal. That is super important. Never play games with dissection. Remember that what you're dissecting was once a living animal. We love animals. We don't want to hurt animals. And why are we doing this? We're doing this so that you have a learning experience that for many people will lead to careers in the medical field and the need to understand the construction of the human body. So never play games. Don't throw anything. Treat the animal's body in a way that you would want to be treated. Okay, so just please remember that. When we are done with our dissection, remember that someone will sit at your desk after you leave, and you want to make sure that it is the way you found it when you came in. Dispose of the animal parts in the bin marked animal tissue. Make sure you put the animal parts inside the plastic liner. And gloves can go in the regular trash, and all other materials. If you've used paper towel, please put all of those materials in the regular trash. The only thing that goes in the animal tissue bin are animal parts. Then you're going to take all your tools and wash them with warm soap and water, and then dry them. Remember when you're washing that those tools are sharp, so be careful there. Wash the rubber dissection mat that's inside the metal tray and wash the metal tray. Separate them and wash them with warm soap and water and then dry them. Place all the tools on the tray exactly as you found them, and then I will tell you how to stack the trays. Usually we stack them crisscross on the back counter in the laboratory. Sometimes I will have you put them out on the desks for the next class coming in. But you also want to make sure that you wash your desk and dry it, because you may have gotten something on your desk that you don't want the next group to be touching. Put your goggles away and your lab coat away if you've used them. Please help out in general and clean up the rest of the classroom. Generally, the back counter gets wet, and people tend to leave paper towels there. I hope you didn't do that. But just please help with general classroom cleanup. Okay, finally, before you leave the room, you need to wash your own hands with warm soap and water, and make sure that they're fully free of any materials that you might have picked up in our dissection. Thank you very much.